Yay! Yay! Okay, we got it. Alrighty. All right. Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us today, guys. So excited that today is our first hot topic that we're going to be doing. And this is going to be a series. Every single Monday, we'll choose a new global topic to discuss. Today, we're going to be talking about pandemics and sustainability, how to be sustainable in times of COVID, and what it looks like to us and how you guys can join the movement. So today, what we'll be talking about, the main points we'll be covering is self-care, plastic pollution, single-use versus reusable masks. Too echoey? Is that better? Are people saying yes? Like yes. Yeah. Cool. So today we'll talk about self-care, plastic pollution, single-use versus reusable masks, shopping locally, in-house gardening, food waste, eco-friendly hiking, and voting. So we'll start off today with Lex. She'll be talking about self-care.
Hey everyone, I'm Lex. Today I wanted to kind of elaborate how important it is to have a healthy mind and body. A lot of people talk about preventative measures, but I also want to talk about your personal health. The fact that you need rest, take breaks whenever you can. You can't just continuously do homework and look at screens for 24 hours. It's just not going to happen. So not only get good rest, but take naps. I like naps. Go out, go for a walk, get some, vitamins in your system. You know what I mean? Also, make time for yourself. We really want you guys to focus on what makes you happy, and that is really good mental health when you love what you're doing, whether that be reading a book or playing with Legos or gardening. That's a really good one. Also, you may not be able to help it, but cooking at home is a good way to kind of be not only sustainable, but also to save money, which I don't have, so I don't know what Anyway, it also is important to get all your different food groups, so get plenty of vegetables in your system. Very important that you eat healthy. No junk food, guys. I eat Cheetos. So journal and meditate. I don't know if you guys do this, but I know when I'm down or not having a good day and I don't have someone to talk to about something, I just journal. It helps me internalize it. You know what I mean? And then also preventative measures. It is still important. I know it's not as, you don't see it as much every day, but people are struggling with the pandemic. And so you need to make sure you're protecting not only you, but others. Thank you.
No.
Hi guys.
Is the volume still echoing for you guys?
It's good on my end.
Yeah. So I was just gonna let everybody know if there's sound issues, just let us know in the chat. This presentation is gonna be about 30 minutes long, give or take. And then at the end, we're gonna open up for questions and group discussion with all of you guys. So if you guys hang on to the end, you'll be able to express all the beautiful opinions that you have. So yeah, just type in the chat if there's an echoing issue and we'll try to fix it right away.
Hi guys, so I'm going to talk about plastic pollution and the pandemic. So as you guys all know, there's been a huge surge in plastic pollution because of the pandemic. A lot of scientists think that for some reason, like there was this group of scientists that thought that plastic was actually safer, but it turns out that COVID-19 and other infectious diseases stay on plastic longer than they stay on things like hard surfaces and metal and wood. So it's not actually that much of a cleaner or safer alternative. And the plastic companies are kind of using that as like a way for them to make more money and to make more plastic. So like we all have to be really aware of that. So, you know, just an example of the impact, Singapore during their 8-week lockdown, just in their 5.7 million residents discarded an additional 1,470 tons of plastic. So I know personally, just from me getting takeout from the pandemic, I definitely went through a lot of takeout packaging. So something just to keep in mind, as well as like masks. Like if you can use a reusable mask, please do. If you can, like bring reusable utensils, please do, because it is a big problem. Next slide. So yeah, use a reusable mask. Like encourage your loved ones to do the same. You can make them yourself, and if you know you have loved ones who keep using the single-use ones, like ask them to use a reusable one, even buy one for them. Try to reduce your takeout orders. I know that's hard because I love takeout food too. But if you do get takeout, like bring your own bag and cutlery and just like ask them. You know, they might say no sometimes, but ask for, you know, no extra plastic. Bring your own cup. I know the coffee corner they are still like accepting cups, so you can bring your own cup. Sometimes they'll say no, but you can still try. You can support the Break Free from Plastic Act in Congress, write to your local officials telling them that you want plastic pollution ended, support progress on sustainable packaging, and just educate your peers and your loved ones about plastic pollution, and just try to do your part. Have a great
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Elena. For those who may not know me, I'm talking about a very important part of our pandemic time here, which is masks. Obviously, they're required in most public places. But what people aren't thinking about is that the reusable masks are a huge polluter. And as there's already 13 million tons of plastic going into the ocean every year, the studies that the UK are doing are saying that 66,000 tons of contaminated waste, which is just masks, and 75,000 tons of plastic packaging waste from the masks will be entering the ocean as well, which is a total of 13,141,000 tons of plastic and waste that is entering our oceans in 1 year just from pandemic waste. So single-use masks take approximately 450 years to break down. So luckily, there are alternatives. You can buy reusable masks almost everywhere now, but I would really encourage you guys to look at small businesses that you can find on Etsy. You can support small local businesses. And honestly, the ones on Etsy are so cute and fun, and like some of them are hand dyed and some of them are from like, it's reused fabric. There's a company called Parachute that makes masks from ethically sourced cotton, and you can buy 5 masks for $30, and then they donate another 5 masks to people who need them. Another company is Christy Dawn. She uses leftover dead stock fabric, and they are double layered, so they're extra protective, and she does the same thing. You will buy 5 masks for $30, and 5 of them will be donated to people in need. So those are some resources you can use to get your own reusable masks and stay away from the single-use ones. Thank you, guys. Next will be Emmy.
Thanks. So today I will be talking about shopping locally and why it's so important to shop locally. The main reason why it's so important is because they bring jobs to our community. To have a thriving economic growth within your town, it's essential to have local shops. It also makes your communities more innovative, more unique, and more valuable. It's also the most sustainable way to shop. So if you shop locally, you are using less transportation emissions. The store uses less transportation emissions to get the products to you, and then it takes less emissions to get the products to your house. It also creates less sprawl when you shop locally because they don't have to create giant mass industries that take up a lot of habitat land. And there's also not a mass amount of pollution from mass production. I've said mass like 100 times now, but you guys get the point. It also supports homemade goods and handmade goods. So a lot of times when you're buying locally, you're also supporting your next door neighbor, just making crafts inside their house. And so why is it so important to shop local right now? It's mostly important because during these COVID times, these local businesses have taken a huge financial stress. They are unfortunately losing a lot of money and have had to think about things such as foreclosures or threat of losing everything that they have done to get their business where it is today. They're losing it because of the lack of business, because we're not allowed to go outside, because we're supposed to be COVID safe, which we need to be. But because of all that stuff, the local owners that care about our communities, our friends and our neighbors, they're in need right now. So how can you support them? I broke it down to 3 main ways you could support them. Don't stop shopping locally. Even though you shouldn't overconsume and don't buy if it's not necessary to, if you need something, go and shop locally to get it. You can shop online, you can pick up items curbside, you can get them delivered to you. You can even buy gift cards or credits to use them later on in life if you don't feel like shopping or buying something right now. It just supports the business right now so that way they can have the money now, you can buy the products later. Another thing to do is also continue to check in with this business just to see what their store hours are like, see what their safety guidelines are, what their new procedures are for purchasing products. And if you feel comfortable, go inside, have at a safe distance, always wear your mask and keep your hands washed. But it would help the businesses a lot more if you're able to go in there and sit down. You tend to buy more products when you sit down. And these local businesses just miss seeing your faces because, like I said, they like doing it for the community. And so they're really missing that community aspect. Another way you can give them that community aspect, though, is by liking, and sharing them. Sharing their businesses on social media spreads the love and gives their business so much more attention than it had before. A lot of these businesses are new on social media, so spreading their pages for them is really going to help them out. It goes a long way for them. And also, a little tidbit that I want to throw in there is support underrepresented local businesses. If you can get underrepresented environmental local business, that is the one you want to shop at right there. And by underrepresented, we mean Black and brown businesses, LGBTQIA plus businesses, and then just any other minority businesses that you guys are able to support would be awesome. And I will pass it on to the lovely Camille. Or just kidding, Tori.
Hello. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about just like at-home gardening, because I know a lot of people over quarantine kind of picked up their own little gardening at home. So why is at-home gardening sustainable? You get to save water. So at-home gardening, you cut back the amount of water that farms would be using, because you can either use rainwater or snow water to collect that, and you have a much smaller scale farm in your house, farm, little garden. Another thing is you reduce your carbon footprint. So the fuel or the emissions from transportation of your food to get to your local store, you could grow in your house. Another great thing is you can reuse your resources. So upcycling pots by using like yogurt containers. I'm going to go into that a little bit later, but that's another great way. Zero waste, you can also just kind of full circle it. The stuff that you don't use from your garden, you make your own little compost, and you can use that again for your dirt for gardening. So that's another great thing. Next slide. Okay, so some tips for at-home gardening. This is just kind of like a little fun little information. First, you want to come up with a plan. Like, what do you want to plant? What's going to be good in your apartment? Like, what season is it? Some important things to remember is to research what you're doing, obviously. Leafy greens are really good for growing inside. Radishes, tomatoes, better to move outside eventually because it's kind of hard to grow inside. Scallions are really good. Radishes, herbs, strawberries. I did grow one strawberry in my apartment, which was, an accomplishment. Tasted very small and it was a little sour, but it's okay. Yeah, it tasted small. It was small, my bad. Another great thing that my roommate and I do is we upcycle pots. So like we get yogurt and we save those containers, and then we just plant our pots in there or our plants in there. That way we're kind of like reducing the waste that we throw out, because we're just kind of upcycling as much as we can. You can do that with soda bottles by cutting them in half. If you look up how to do that, you can get it so they self-water. That way you don't have to kind of regulate that, because sometimes people get a little worried about that. You can also do glass jars, not as recommended because there's not a lot of drainage. So you would want to put like rocks and stuff on the bottom if you did that. Another important thing to remember is the dirt. You would want to purchase dirt that's going to be for indoor potting, and you want to know if you live somewhere that doesn't have a lot of windows, you want to make sure you can find a spot where it can get light, or you can get a special light bulb that will provide the sun that those plants that you have planted need. So like vegetables, you need like 4 to 6 hours of sunlight, whereas fruit, you need like 8 to 10. So just be careful on what you do plant. Watering, a lot of people think like freak out about this, but just remember less is more. It also depends on what season you're in. So if they're indoors, they're not going to dry up as fast because they're not outside getting all their water sucked up by the sun. So you don't want to water them as often, which is a #1 killer of people's indoor plants. Also, again, just the same thing, placement is very important, because if you keep it by a window and it's winter, they can also freeze, like especially like sensitive plants like herbs and things like that. So just be mindful of like where you plant things. They are sensitive, make them comfy, you know. I did post some things in the link of the Instagram bio of like good tips and good websites that you guys can use for gardening at home if you guys want to check that out. But that's just kind of my little rundown of at-home gardening.
Hello. Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. So continuing on with the food type of thing that Tori was talking about, Emmy already mentioned this, but I'll just reiterate because I think it's so important and such a simple thing that you can do. Bring your own utensils, especially if you're eating around campus, if you're going out to eat places. A lot of people are just doing disposable plastic utensils. So that's a really easy way to cut your plastic usage. Also, if you have a kitchen, you can cook some more of your meals at home. I love to meal plan and meal prep. That just helps me make sure that all of my food gets used and eaten. And so I definitely think ahead. I make a grocery list. I make sure that I only buy what I will realistically eat. And then if something is going bad or I don't think I'll get to it, then I definitely utilize my freezer. So like most fruits are great in the freezer. You can make smoothie bags. You can do so much. You can also play around with some preservation. So I got really into pickling for a while and did quick pickle onions and jalapenos, and they were so good and so easy. Also, if you are not already plant-based or vegan or vegetarian, you can try incorporating some of those types of meals into your diet. And then when you're out grocery shopping, you can look for cardboard packaging because that can be recycled or composted. Next slide. And then with food storage, if you do use plastic bags, no shame, but try to wash them out between uses and get some more use out of them. Most plastic bags are pretty hardy, so you can definitely get like 10 uses out of them. And then I have tons of ideas for reducing your food waste. So you can do freezer compost. I think the Garden Club is going to do some cool composting stuff, so you could bring it there. You can get interested in natural dyeing with foods. So I've been storing avocado skins and pits and onion skins in my freezer, and eventually I'll get around to dyeing some fabric with them. You can also make citrus peel tea, which is great for these sick viral times to support your immune system. Homemade veggie broth is really easy to make with veggie scraps, and you can toss strawberry tops, carrot tops, celery leaves, and so many other vegetable parts that usually go to waste in your smoothies. And then I think a huge thing as we're kind of slowing down more and having more time at home is just to slow down and really get connected with your food, get creative, get interested in different ways of making your food or different recipes, and just enjoy your food.
Hi, I'm Amelia, and I'm going to be talking about like being an eco-friendly hiker because I think during the pandemic we all don't have a lot to do, so most of us are going outside and just getting in nature. But while we're doing that, we need to make sure we're being smart about it. So always when you're on hikes, wear a mask if you're around other people because you could still spread it on a hike. I've been seeing so many people without masks, and it's crazy. And then also make sure you're sticking to the path. So pay attention to areas that are blocked off because those are often closed for habitat restoration. And then when you're going off the path, you're contributing to habitat fragmentation, you're like killing vegetation. So if you can, stay on the path. And then also leave no trace. So when you're bringing in food and food and stuff, make sure you're packing it out. Even something like a banana peel or like a pistachio shell, it's biodegradable, but that really shouldn't be left in there. We should be packing all of it out. And then also, I like to avoid popular hikes, especially in national parks. So we're really loving our national parks to death. They're being overused. So I like to just find less common trails, and I can usually do that through the All Trails app and the Co-Trex Trail app. You can find trails that are less popular. And then also don't take, I know it's really tempting to pick flowers and collect rocks and things, but we should be leaving that there. And then additionally, we should be following the county's rules about camping, whether or not you can camp in a certain area, hiking permits, because I know certain areas are trying to limit people. So you need a permit to hike in some spots now at state parks. And then also, of course, fires. We don't want to be lighting fires where they're not supposed to be. I think there's a statewide fire ban all across Colorado right now. So we shouldn't be having any fires at all. And then as always, practice basic safety measures. So that's bringing plenty of food and water, going with a buddy, have a first aid kit, and then wear warm clothes and a hat. And then always tell probably at least 2 people where you're going and when you'll be back. Because if you get stuck out there or something happens to you, first responders are gonna have to come look for you. And that's first responders are already in high demand because of the pandemic, and they could also be exposed to corona, or you could. So yes, be safe. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Frances, and for our last topic that we will be talking about is voting. And why do we mention voting in the middle of a pandemic? It is very, very, very important right now that if you have that privilege, we need to be out there and registering to vote and making sure we're updating with what's going to be on the ballot, who's going to be on the ballot, and just being informed. And so one way of doing that is to, one, go online to register to vote, 2, make sure that you receive your ballot where it's going to be most accessible. So if you're living on campus right now, we would recommend for you to get your registering to your current address. And if you're going to be voting by mail, you can do that as well. Sorry, so you can always scan this barcode and you can request an absentee ballot. And then we also recommend that if you're gonna be voting by mail, to make sure you get that in with extra time, just because we want everything to go in as smoothly as possible. Check out where your nearest ballot drop box is gonna be. UNC normally typically has one at the UC. Greeley also tends to have some at the library. I forgot the name of the public library on 23rd. So there's gonna be a lot of more information coming up that we will provide through Earth Guardians. Stay tuned. For every upcoming Tuesdays, we're gonna have what's called Turnout Tuesdays, just to have more information about voting and registering to vote. And so if you are, so if you are from out of state or in state, we also have information for that. So if you're voting as a Colorado resident, Make sure you check out where you're registered to vote. Or if you're an out-of-state student, check out the second barcode right here to the, I don't know if left or right. To just check out those for more information if you're an in-state or out-of-state student. And also make sure that you're registered to vote. And again, we will be having more information on that every Tuesday, upcoming weeks up until the election. So please stay tuned with us and we will have more information about that.
So just a thought to have before we open up for questions. A clean hands and a sustainable mind equals a clean future, because we are all in this together. And so with that being said, we'd like to open it up for questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, anything under the above. Unmute yourself and let yourself be heard. We're listening.
I had a question about the hiking trails. I have the all trails app. I heard somebody mention another app. What was the name of that other one? I was gonna take a look at it.
We're having Grace, right? Did you hear? Sorry, we're having some trouble hearing you, Grace. Hold on. Okay, let's fix this. Okay, you can go ahead and try.
Is that
it.
better?
Yes, there we go. All
Okay.
right, sorry about that.
So I have the All Trails app. You're good. So I have the All Trails app, and then somebody mentioned like another one. I'm not familiar with it. What was the name of it? I was gonna look into it.
It's the Cotrex app.
Cotrex.
It's
Okay.
Cotrex, and you can get it through, I don't know. I need to find the link, but it's on the App Store, just
Okay.
Cotrex.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
It's an official government app too, so it's real cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sorry. Okay. All right, let's see. Can you guys hear me good? I wanna. All right. Any other questions? Let me see. You want me to mute myself? Okay.
So you guys don't have to ask questions either. You can also just comment about something, maybe something you liked, something that you didn't like. If you just have any thoughts in general, maybe some extra tips to give us. Now's the time to throw it out.
Going off of like the single-use mask thing, it's just like kind of blown my mind already how many of those I just already see lying around all over campus, and it's like, oh, it just makes me so irritated.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely totally crazy too. Like they're, especially on campus, we would hope that like our campus, our bears would be like a little more sustainable, but that's also something that we can do, is try to encourage our peers to wear the reusable masks, or instead of even having the disposable ones in the first place. And then if you like do see someone litter, like definitely speak up and say something. Don't touch masks. I've been like so tempted to pick up all the ones off the floor and throw them away, but if you do it, just make sure you do it with gloves on and stuff. But other than that, yeah, just try to encourage people to like not do it, because I know it's making me so angry to see it too.
Another thing, I forget who said, somebody tuned in like 2 weeks ago and was saying that you could use, if you do have the throwawayable masks, you could use those and like make plants with them. I think like you could like put dirt and like make your own little like hanging plant or something. Not really sure how that works, but I guess you can look it up. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out.
That was me. I can explain that. Can everyone hear me? Yes. Okay. So the way it works is you take 2 masks. Let me find my mask real quick. It's not throwaway, but it's the same idea. Or not, I can't find it. Basically, it's, you know, the mask is like this shape, and you get another one that's like that shape. They come together, you sew them together, and then you have like a little pot that you can put stuff in. Seedling starter. So, yeah.
Actually, you guys were also talking about like the bottles. How do you guys were talking about like the self-watering, like the plastic bottles. I wasn't sure if you guys were going to go over that, but I'm kind of like, since we're talking about it, I don't know if you guys were going to talk about that.
I tried it a few years ago back in high school. We did a whole project where we tried to plant a whole bunch of seed starters in them, and it never worked very well. Like they never self-watered themselves. And we tried several different designs and several different times. Like they were still cute little like planters in the bottles, but they were never self-watering. So I don't know about that, but
It sorry, okay. It depends on you have to, so when you do the self-watering, I'm not really sure how you did it, Bryce, but I mean, for like a normal like farm tub, what you have to do is you plant the seed and you want it to have pretty established roots before it relies on self-watering. I'm sure you probably did that already, but it also probably depends on the type of plant you do plant. Some are a little bit more picky. I know some plants you can just like, if you get the roots going, you can just grow them in water in general. So if they are able to access the water, like I think it also depends on the type of like string or stuff you use. So you really have to do some research into it. It's not like first time always go ahead good, you know what I mean? So you do have to do some trial and error with that. Yeah, I'll make a workshop for it, you know?
Yeah, so like fun activities like that, just stay tuned on our Instagram as well as the garden club's Instagram. We'll always like repost everything that they post. But then you can like learn how to make your own self-watering plant. We'll like provide the materials for you. We have a lot of opportunities like that coming up, so just stay tuned.
I'm not sure who said it, but so I went to the fair thing for like all the clubs and things like that, and I went to the Earth Guardians one, and you got like the little like seed paper and like the little compostable cup, and somebody said like something about like not putting them in glass jars, and I was like, shoot, I was like, no wonder it's not growing because I just like stuck it in there and there's no drainage. But I'm glad I'm like picking this up. I'm like, gosh, I'm doing so much wrong. But yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to learning a little bit how to be better at gardening, growing plants.
Okay. Another thing, I don't know if you're saying that you planted it in a glass jar and it didn't work. What I do is outside of my apartment, there's like a bunch of rocks. So I just like, you know, they're up for grabs. So I just put them in the bottom of my jar, like make sure it's a pretty good like amount. So you don't want them to be just sitting in the water or else it'll cause like root rot. So just make sure when you water it, it's not building up on the bottom either. But that's what the rocks are going to help with, because then it can also kind of like come back up full circle sometimes. Yeah.
Are there any more questions, comments, or thoughts?
Doesn't have to be about planting, it could be about something else.
Yeah, it could be about anything. You guys can talk. It doesn't even have to be about the pandemic or being sustainable. If you guys want to talk, let us know. Yeah, we're here to create a brave space for people to talk about environmentalism or just activism in general. We do everything under the sun. So you guys can ask us questions about our club. I see like a lot of new faces on the Zoom chat. So you can ask us questions about who we are. You can ask questions about what we used to do.
I'm actually kind of curious. I feel like Slade is probably the only other person, and another girl named Lauren. I don't know if she's on here actually, but
Yes, I am.
oh yay! Okay, cool. So we were kind of talking about how we didn't really know. Oh, and Penny also, right? Yes, I think she's on here also. I don't know if anyone else is like an environmental sustainability studies major. I was like, there's not a lot of us at all, so I wasn't sure about that.
I am.
Okay, so I think pretty much most of us are either environmental studies majors or minors. So that's why we kind of wanted to like make sure we got the word out that we are still doing like virtual meetings, because I feel like a lot of the freshmen coming into don't really get to make that connection with their fellow students. So always feel free to like ask us environmental studies questions. Like if you have questions about like classes or your teachers and stuff like that, always like we're more than happy to answer questions. I'm a senior environmental studies major, so I've taken quite a few ENS classes. I mean, I only have like 2 more left. I can try to help the best I can. I don't know how helpful I'll be, but I can try.
Yeah, there's a lot of us in Earth Guardians that are environmental majors.
Real quick, raise your hand if you're an environmental major or have it as your minor.
I'm like, oh, Bryce, I have you in like 2 classes, I think, with Kimball. And then, what's the other one? I don't know. I think I have you in another class. Anyways, but yeah, if you have any questions of like what you're interested in, Dr. Chelsea Romulo, if you go onto the UNC page, there's kind of already like a 4-year plan for like environmentalists, like if you want to double major, if you want to like do it as a major or a minor. So right now, I think there's like double major in like sociology and environmentalism, or environmentalism, or what's it called? Sorry, environmental sustainability and GIS, or political science. So you can emphasize it in like different things based on what you're interested in, because it is such a broad major. I personally really enjoy like the political side of it. So there's just a different bunch of things that go into it.
I'm also a double major. I major in environmental studies and business management. So if you guys want to know how to make a double major happen in a 4-year period, definitely message me. Like we were all saying, like all of us are pretty much seniors, if not we're juniors. So reach out to us, ask us questions. We're more than willing to help you guys along with your classes. Even if you're not environmental majors, we know it can be tough and we're willing to help you guys. So just let us know.
Go for it. Okay. Oh.
I have a quick question.
Okay, I also just want to say like thank you for all you guys for like showing up, because I know it's weird to just like show onto a Zoom, but we really appreciate it. And like they said, they're all seniors and I'm a sophomore, so I need you. So please like just stay involved, because like this is such an amazing club and we want it to keep going. Like for ages, because the earth needs us. So, but it's like really awesome even over Zoom to like see all your new faces, and we're happy you're here.
Do you think we'll be able to meet in person somehow in the near future? Ever?
Yeah, so we actually have a couple of in-person events that we're going to be planning. Stay tuned on our Instagram. Definitely towards the end of September, we'll be doing our Food for Thought event. So every year we host a vegan catering event where we have people try vegan food for the first time, and we just do different traditional dishes with like a vegan twist on them. And so this year we're going to be having it catered to make it more COVID friendly. We usually make everything by hand, but we're gonna have it catered, and that will be a time that you guys can come and meet us in person, as well as sort of mingle with each other. We'll be able to have up to 50 people mingle at once. We'll still kind of keep you guys distance from each other. But yeah, we'll definitely want to have some in-person events where everybody can come and meet each other face to face for sure.
I don't know where you all live, but it'd be something you could do some research into. My roommates and I just discovered that there's a compost company that for $18 a month, they give you the bin and all of the bags, and then they come and pick it up every week, which is super awesome. So we started doing that a few weeks ago, and they provide the bin, like they provide the bucket to put it all in, and they provide like a little counter bin and all the bags. And then if you want to, they'll even, I think it's a little bit of a charge, extra charge, but they'll bring you back compost if you wanted after the fact, or you can just compost and they take it away. And they compost literally everything except for like pet poop. Like they compost meat, they compost bones, they compost all sorts of peels, like literally everything. And it's like $18 a month, so it's super cool. We've been enjoying that, and it hasn't been a problem at all yet for us, but yeah.
Would it happen to be Common Good Composting?
I don't know what the company is, but I know that
It's okay.
they up in little eco-friendly, like in little electric cars too.
Are they in Greeley?
I'm technically in Evans city limits, but I don't know.
Okay, cool. So they're Common Good Composting. That's my good friend Jeff. I'm so glad that you found him. He is so awesome. All the services you explained are exactly on point. It's called Common Good Composting if anybody is interested. Does somebody mind jumping that in the chat for me? Cool. So we'll drop the name of them in the chat. They do Evans, Greeley, and I believe they do some people in Fort Collins. And he also is a UNC graduate. Yeah, so if there's no more questions, we're gonna wrap up today's presentation.
And then I believe all the names sound familiar on there. Were you added onto the group me? You can say like yes or no on there. That's another way to stay like updated with like what we're doing. If you don't have any other like social media, but if you do have social media, please follow us. That's a great way to stay informed. If not, you can always drop your email and your phone number with your name, and we could add you to the group me, and then you can be even more informed with what we're doing.
And if you guys don't feel comfortable dropping your information in the chat, you can email me personally. I know it says Morgan, but my name's Emmy. But yes, email me or just drop it in the chat right now. We'll add you like literally right now. Another way too, as she said, follow us on Instagram. That's probably gonna be the best way to get all of the information about in-person events that will be coming up. But yeah, get involved in the group me too, because if you guys don't use Instagram, we'll drop the exact same posters on the group me that we put on Instagram.
Also, if you had any questions or like you saw someone's slide that you really like wanted more information on, just like direct message the Instagram or email Emmy, and we can totally get you links to like the more information about everyone's slides if you want. We can totally do that.
Cool, we'll get you guys added. Thanks for dropping your numbers and thanks for coming. We'll just stay logged in if you guys want to keep chatting. If not, feel free to go and enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks, guys. Go Bears. I think I added most of these people.
But I'm gonna
I
take
think
a
it will
picture.
tell you. Yeah, I think it will tell you too if they're not added.
Okay. Well, let me take a picture of it. Okay. Yay!
You guys did so good. That was super good.
Dude, I kind of blacked on my slide. I'm sorry. I got nervous for some reason, and I was like, I forgot everything we went over. Okay. Sorry, let me just.
My shorts? Oh yeah. All I did was I just took a ribbon and I sewed a ribbon to the, and then I just hot glued the flowers. Wash them. Yeah, I can. So like when you
How do I stop recording?
So yeah, you just click stop recording or stop sharing. Bye, and
And then stop.